Alrighty, not that one. This one. Can you guys hear me? Quick mic check. Is it coming through? Because it's always muted, it seems like. I'll double check. Alright, can you hear me? Yes, awesome. Well, champion, to your point, I'm not a good Brood War player. Yeah, you're coming here for the commentary of an F rank Terran wannabe. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you can't do it, talk about it, right? And that's why I'm here. We're going to talk about some StarCraft. But first, we have some very, very important business we need to take care of before we get into today's cast. And we talk about the players, and we talk about what we're going to be seeing in today's cast. So everyone, if you'll join me in the CPL anthem. Put your hand over your heart, okay? And just listen closely. Oh, yeah. Hopefully that's coming through. It's not. There we go. Reflexes, sharp minds and floor. Gamers play, this never ends. CPL, legends play. All right, now shut up and pay attention. We have some serious StarCraft to deal with. All right, so today, what we're going to be looking at is we are looking at Group 14 of Week 2 Preseason. That's right. We have 5 players that we're going to have games to comment on. We've got, let me go through the list. We got Shimmer, we've got CrimsonJoe, we've got Seventhnadir, Nate, and Dazzle. And let me go ahead and do that again, but let me tell you the races as well, okay? So we've got Shimmer, which is going to be playing Protoss. Cool. CrimsonJoe is playing Zerg, built different, as we've mentioned yesterday during the stream. Seventhnadir, Terran, Nate, Terran, and Dazzle, Protoss. Okay, so we are in for a treat today. Now, as you'll notice up here, this is going to be our scorecard, right? As after each match, we'll put a W or an L or whatever the case may be. And we'll just keep track as we go through the games. There's only 7 games, so not all of the games were played during this week, but that's okay. We'll get after it and we'll have a good time. So without further ado, let's get into our first game, which is going to be CrimsonJoe versus Dazzle. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you all. And we are playing on Vermeer, right? So this is still Week 2 preseason. Every game is going to be on Vermeer. Everyone loves Vermeer. I keep getting, fan mail. People keep calling me, hitting me up on Discord saying Vermeer is the best map of all time, and it's the only map we should play in CPL. So let's go ahead and get into it. Without further ado. Oh no. Where'd my image go? Hold on, let me bring up the CPL image. And by the way, last stream, this little banner over here said CSL the whole time. I'm so sorry for that. But no one told me, and no one gave me the heads up that was the case. So that's just going to live in internet history forever. So my bad. But let's get into the game. The bottom right on this 4-player map, we have Dazzle as our blue Protoss, and we've got CrimsonJoe as our red Zerg. Champion, thank you for the subscription. And also, I want to thank Indo as well for the subscription yesterday. I didn't realize he subscribed. I thought it was just a follow. Much appreciated. Anything that gets subscribed to this channel is just going to go into a big pool of StarCraft money, and so like every, $2 we'll put into a prize pool, and we'll do like an open tournament once it hits something substantial, like $10. All right, so what we're keeping an eye out here is, I don't know how any of these players play, so we're going to get kind of fresh takes, and it'll kind of evolve as we go through each of these matches, and we'll get some trends, and we'll see how they change their strategies as the groups go. We have a pylon going down here at the natural for Dazzle, so potentially setting up for a Forge expand, which is something that we see a lot in the PvZs. We do have the spawning pool already down with a second Overlord, and we're getting into it. Now, CrimsonJoe, the only thing I know about CrimsonJoe is that he beat the crap out of me in our group in week 1. So that should tell you something. But I'm not a Protoss player like Dazzle. Dazzle's going up. He's scouting north. He's going to be checking out the top right. And we're having a drone also go and scout up into the top left. This is a little bit of a... I don't know if this is early. Oh, it looks like he's going cross-spawn scout. But he already has the Overlord over here. He's getting a second hatchery. And he's really trying to get an identification of where the Protoss is hanging out. Whoa! Okay, we've got double gateway, so not a forge fast expand. We've got double gate going here for Dazzle. And this looks like Dazzle has a chance to be very aggressive here. Okay, first Zealot is out. Second Zealot out. Let's see if the Zealot brothers decide to fly across the map. See, Dazzle still doesn't know where Crimson is. He knows he's not in the top right. But we see the Overlord now. So he should know that Crimson is sitting here in the bottom left. Now we've got the Zerglings walling off the ramp. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for these Zealots to run up into the main. I mean, we have a third hatchery underway for Crimson as well. Now, I'm curious what this drone's going to do, right? So he kind of poked around. So he knows where the Protoss is, but he already knew from the Overlord. Oh, okay, we got a little bit of... Okay, here we go. We got pylons going on behind the mineral line. This is almost feinting a cannon rush. That gets the Zerglings completely pulled away from the main base, and the Zealots and the probe are up here in the main. We've got some hits on this drone, but it didn't go down. The other one as well. We got a couple of drones limping around. And now we've got the... Oh my gosh, 2 more Zealots running in. This looks incredibly scary. I don't know if CrimsonJoe is going to be able to get this. We've got more pylons distracting the Zerglings. Now we've got 2 Zealots not really in the fight. Okay, they are getting brought in. We've got creep colonies going down. All of the economy from Zerg is just going straight into Zerglings. We've got drones falling left and right. We're at 6 drones right now. The first Sunken does come up. It's going to help. It takes out 1 Zealot. These Zerglings. I really wish that they were in the fight, but right now I think CrimsonJoe is just focusing on getting those drones out of harm's way. We have another Zealot go down. So we're at 2 Zealots. Not enough money to turn this into a Sunken colony, though. And this Zealot and the probe body block. Oh my goodness. These drones are just being massacred, and that's the GG. Holy cow. Making some Zerg suit shimmy up in here. And here's Dazzle in the chat saying, hey, you're going to get to watch me get crushed all day. GG's to both players. Very aggressive build by Dazzle. It really paid off. Going the 2 forward gate. And I really like, and I think one of the pivotal moments of this engagement was putting that pylon behind this mineral line that drew all the Zerglings. And then the Zealots just whoop, went right into the main base. Super fun. Super fun. All right, let's go ahead and let's adjust our scorecard. So CrimsonJoe with an L, Dazzle with a big fat dub. Let's see if that updates. There it is. And let's go ahead and go into CrimsonJoe versus Seventhnadir. Seventhnadir? Seventh North American Dir. That's good. You want to be a mod? You can be a mod. Anyone can be a mod. This is a very mod-inclusive location. CrimsonJoe, Seventhnadir. Okay, sorry for the delay there. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. All right, let's get into it. Now, this one is going to be TVP. That can't be right. CrimsonJoe Zerg. TVZ. All right, so up here in the top left, we've got Seventhnadir, whose username here is Eighthnadir. Up in the top left is our blue Terran. We've got CrimsonJoe, our red Zerg in the bottom left. Now, we didn't get to see CrimsonJoe really get to enact his plan against Dazzle, right? So we saw how he reacted to the rush. We saw that against that early pressure, he had a lot of lings. They just got kind of pulled out of the main base, and then he was resorting to Sunkens to try to deal with the Zealots. So everything kind of fell apart a little early, but I know that CrimsonJoe can definitely put up a huge fight, and I'm excited to see what he does against Terran, and how his initial game plan kind of is different from what he was trying to do against the Protoss Dazzle. Seventhnadir getting his supply depot up. Opting not to do any type of wall, I'd like to point out. We have an Overlord first. We'll see if he throws down a pool after this, or if he throws down a second hatchery in the natural. Yeah, you missed a game already. The first game was like 4 minutes long. We are on game 2 of the 7 games that exist in this preseason group. Okay, so it does look like he's going to go hatchery first here. Terran's getting his barracks up. Yeah, I see Arctic Sun. You're like, 4-minute PVZ, and it's not what you think. You know, I actually fell into that trap because I see the duration of the games before we click into them. That's the only like spoiler I know. I don't actually know the results of these. I haven't watched them or anything. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, CrimsonJoe, he's gonna 4-pool. That's what's gonna happen here. But I'll just tell you, it wasn't a 4-pool. All right, we've got SCVs heading all over the place. This one heading down to the bottom left is going to get a scout off on our Zerg player. He's going to see the second hatchery. He's going to see the gas. He's going to see the pool only about a third of the way done. The Overlord has made its way up to the Terran base, and it's going to be seeing the expansion. Looks like a barracks fast expand. So it looks like we have the setup here for a pretty standard game. We'll see if this Marine can pick off this Overlord. Pretty doubtful. Overlord can kind of get behind these walls and it'll be fine. All right, now the pool's complete. We have 4 Lings morphing. And CrimsonJoe has opted to keep, I say opt a lot, he has chosen to keep this drone up here in the top right. Now I'm wondering, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if he ends up doing kind of a long distance third, if he expands up that way. Bunker has gone down. Now the bunker placement, Seventhnadir has decided to keep it really close to the ramp, right? So some risks here is it doesn't entirely defend the mineral line. And it's a little tough to wall off if that was something that he wanted to do at some point. All right, we've got a Marine. We've got 4 Marines in the bunker. And we've got the Lings. All right, they're chasing the SCV. They're in hot pursuit. Oh, but he runs right into the bunker. He loses a few Lings there. And there's only 3 remaining, right? So he's not going to be able to run by with that small count. He's got 4 more back in base. He seems to be... Okay, so he is droning up again. And we already have a sunken colony here at the natural. I didn't see when that went down, but it seems like he had done that before he had lost the Lings to the Marines here. So playing a little defensively. And we have the Academy. And now we've got Stim. All right, so Stim is on the way. We're getting a couple more barracks. I expect an engineering bay to be coming up here relatively soon. Now, we'll see if he needs those turrets, if there is going to be a spire that goes down. He was trying to run that SCV, I bet, into the main to get an idea if there was a spire coming or not. This looks like it might be the tech choice. Maybe not. I guess we do have to get layer first, don't we? Okay, so the layer's being morphed. So we still have a little bit of time here for our Terran. Okay, we've got 1 medic. See, we got another medic on the way. And when there's 2 medics, that might be the trigger here for Seventhnadir to move out. At least I see that a lot with kind of like the 2 racks Academy build. Ooh, this is an interesting wall. Okay, so this, once he starts incorporating vehicles into his army, there's going to be a point where he's going to want to probably kill this this bunker. This is a little bit of a traffic jam, which might become frustrating later on. Especially, you know, slaps a ComStat on here, like this whole thing is just walled off. And you can already see here, like the Marines are kind of struggling to get around effectively. Okay, so it looks like Seventhnadir is getting his army together, and he wants to push across the map. Now, the Sunkens have already been forced. He's seen 2 Sunkens with the SCV already. There's Lings here in defense. This Overlord, I believe, is seeing all of this. Yeah, he's seeing the move out. And we've got Hydra Den. Okay, and that's just got scanned. So Seventhnadir knows, okay, we've got a Hydra Den. We've got a Queen's Nest. Whew! And we're not seeing a Spire. Oh no, he needs to be really careful with these Marines. I don't think this is enough for what Zerg has here. Okay, now, this might be a little unnecessary. He's going to get, CrimsonJoe is going to get 1 Marine, but then the Lings are going to get pushed back. Now, we do have a turret here. I don't know if that blocks the ComSat, but this turret will help if lurkers start kind of coming towards the mineral line. But again, like the bunker is not really in a place to be able to defend it very well. We do have a factory being built. We saw the turrets. We know the engineering bay is there, but I'm not seeing +1 weapons as of yet. Really focusing on just producing as many Marines and a couple medics as possible. Ooh, we do have a Marine medic. I don't know if they're just lost or if he's actually scouting with them. It looks like he poked into the natural, but he didn't go all the way to the bottom right. And that drone that we were keeping an eye on up in the top right, I think came down here and made this 3rd. So this is unknown to our Terran player right now. 4th hatchery in the main. And the Hydras are starting to, the Hydra numbers are starting to grow. Ooh, running right into that Marine line. They did not last very long. Okay, we've got a Queen. All right, we've got 6 Zerglings and a Queen. I want to see how this goes. And I'm loving the use of Queens just in general. I like it when some of these units that don't necessarily see as much airtime as they should do. And right here, we see that that turret did need to be destroyed, right? So it was in the way of the ComSat. Oh, and he scans right on top of that 3rd base. So now he's fully aware, and it's relatively undefended. And you can see here the reaction. 8th is going to jump all over it. Go. The Sunkens are trying to morph. They're going to be done just in time to help defend this, but there's only 2, and this is a good handful of Marines. So I would call this base effectively dead. Right, you can hear the stims going off. One of the Sunkens is down. 2nd one getting peppered. Dunskies, bro. Okay, but the entire army is on this side of the map. Let's see what Zerg is up to. Okay, Zerg is continuing to macro up. We're getting Ultralisks! We've got a Lurker on the field. We got some Zerglings. We've got a bunch of Queens, and we've got the Ultralisks. Now, I didn't see... What do we got here? +50 Queen energy. I don't know. I mean, maybe someone can tell me if I missed it, but I didn't see if whether Ensnare was researched or not. Ultra Ensnare, real thing. Data, hello, hello. Data prefers if you call him Daddy. Just letting chat know if you're gonna ping him. Okay. We've got Marines running all across the map. He's just checking for additional bases, right? He caught that one. Hey, what's up, Minnie? Down in the bottom right. And he's trying to make sure that there's nothing else hidden. So this is, I'm glad that he's doing this. Normally you don't see necessarily like an entire ball of bio doing this in order to kind of maintain some defense on your main base. Normally you'll see them kind of just like spread out, kind of like that Zergling spread, right? You group them out and then like shift click them out of the control group all over and then just bring them back in lieu of using vultures. Now let's check on the base here. We do have tank production, right? And one of them somehow slipped out of this wall. But we got 3 up here on the high ground. We have turrets. We have a starport and science facility underway. We'll see if he starts going science vessels, which undoubtedly he probably will. Now, in the Zerg's base, we have a whole grip of lurkers, Zerglings. The queens are gathering a good amount of energy at this point, which I'm really curious to see if he starts, like, when he decides to uncover them, right? At some point, I think they have a lot of shock value, especially if he's going to use them for broodling or anything on the tanks, right? They're a great siege breaking tool. Look at this, we got Ultralisks on the way. A ton of upgrades coming in for Terran. Right now, let's go ahead and check the upgrades. We're at 0-0 for the Zerg. We do have +1 melee being upgraded. 4 Ultras, 6 Lings on the way. For the Terran, we're sitting at +1 attack with +2 attack and +1 defense being researched. 0-0 for the mech, but that's okay. The Marines are the heavy hitters in this. And there are so many. Oh my goodness. I'm really curious to see how this engagement goes, because this is going to be a big push, and if he's not careful, the lurkers are just going to shred. Now, we got to be careful with Zerg here, not to throw away our Lings. So he's going to group his army up, back behind these Sunkens, back behind the lurkers. Oh, and he's throwing the Ultras out there. Let's go! Now, the Ultras are going to go down pretty quick. This is just a lot of Marines. Now, unfortunately, the units are trickling out here. Oh, no. I don't think this is a great position for our Zerg player. This Queen was looking to do something. And 8th's not necessarily committing. He still found this base over here. This looks like it might have been rebuilt. And so 8th is going to knock that out real quick, which is really powerful. Keep the Zerg to 2 bases. And now the Science Vessel is going to start flying around and looking for things to irradiate. Looks like it caught this Lurker up here. And this is what we got to be careful about from the Terran, right? We can't, like, even though we have a ton of Marines, we just can't walk them into this. We're going to need some Siege Tank support or something to get around this. Irradiate, great tool. Sit here, irradiate out the Lurkers. Siege up the sunken colonies. Oh no, I want to see some value from these Queens. Okay, so we have tanks. I didn't see if Broodling was researched, but we might be able to see. Oh, it was! 1 tank down. 2 tank down. Ultralisks running in. Here comes another Queen. 3 tanks down. I want to see an infested Terran command center. I don't know if we'll get to that point, but God, I love Queens. They're so badass. Okay, so the siege effectively knocked out. But Terran still in a very strong position, right? This is a pretty heavy contain, and we're throwing the Ultralists that we do get kind of out a little lackluster. So we do get an ensnare on the Marines. Now, I think this takes a while to wear out, but he needs something to follow up with. Okay, and his tool of choice here is the Zerglings. So the Marines aren't really having to go anywhere, but their DPS is wildly reduced, right? So like when you're ensnared, I'm pretty sure that means that like if you stim, it equates to being not stimmed, right? And if you're not stimmed, then obviously it's even worse from a DPS perspective. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Marines here, and they're +2, +1. Okay, grouping up a little bit. Now just taking stock of the map, the bottom right was effectively knocked out. 8th has left a tank there. But the fight continues outside the natural of CrimsonJoe. Okay, now we're getting the Lurkers into the fight. Now the Science Vessels are here. They can irradiate some of them, but still, they kill Marines so fast. And CrimsonJoe is using them to get some space. One of these is irradiated, that one. All right, I think CrimsonJoe starting to make some moves. This yeah, get it, Ultra. Let's go. This guy running past the army, and get this, the reaction is to pull the entire army. That one Ultra just freaking Leroy Jenkinsing it all the way up to the top left. Did a phenomenal job of just bringing the entirety of the Terran army home. Amazing. This is the window of opportunity that CrimsonJoe needed to get out on the map. Start spreading. Start taking some space. And these lurkers are going to do a phenomenal job of helping with that, as long as they're not being irradiated by these science vessels. It looks like we're a little bit, you know, moderate on energy right now. They need to get a little bit more. We have more science vessels in production flying around. And right now for the Zerg, you know, production is purely Ultralisk Zergling, Ultraling production. Where are you going? Here's this drone. Looks like he's trying to get a little sneaky with it. So this Zergling's been parked up here burrowed. And so this drone is likely going to take that upper right expansion. And we haven't seen 8th kind of like recheck the expansions in a while. He kind of knocked out this bottom right one and called it good. And it looks like Crimson might be trying to expand here as well to like the natural triangle third. Now I like that 8th is coming out here, using the science vessels, being active, irradiating these lurkers. But we do have some Scourge now. So the Scourge are going to make, are going to force 8th to kind of respect the airspace around the Zerg base. Boom. One science vessel goes down. Now we're seeing a large move out. And this is being triggered by seeing that third might be taken. Oh, but here come the Ultralisks! Oh my gosh. So ultra. Alright. So the Terran army died. But the supply is still looking pretty strong here for our Terran. And we haven't looked at the bases in a while, but Terran has had a third base for a little while. The Ultralisk are going to really struggle with this wall. And as you can see, the bunker was taken out to kind of help. Some of the tanks get through. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at these Zerglings. It looks like a tower defense level. Like everything was just flowing into that one spot as the Marines just wiped them out. So CrimsonJoe's been able to get some space. He's been able to expand up into the top right. He was able to kill that Marine medic army in the middle of the map. But with all that being said, he's still at 29 drones. And the supply is heavily in favor of Seventhnadir. So I really like the position here for Terran. I think Terran has a dominant lead. But this is hard to control, right? So like having all the Marines, all the tanks, all the science vessels, it's kind of tough to coordinate across the map and get the effects that you want. So we'll see how 8th does with it. He's doing a good job of knocking out some science vessels where he can. But even though CrimsonJoe's supply is a little bit low, I think that, you know, he does have a chance here, depending on the Terran's ability to control this army. Alright, so the hatchery's up. We're getting drones in the top right. Getting some more of that gas, which Crimson desperately needs, right? He's been a little bit gas starved. Ultralisks are expensive. And yeah, I'm seeing in the chat, right? Like, if CrimsonJoe had some Defilers, game over. Game over. Defilers are so hard to deal with. Just slap a Dark Swarm pretty much anywhere, and you're good to go. Now, we're seeing the Terran move out as well. So the Ultralisks and Lings, these aren't going to do a whole lot. But what we saw earlier, and we'll see if it happens again, was that one Ultralisk running across the map was enough to get the Terran to bring the entire army home. And right now we're watching Zerg take out this 4th base. But unlike last time, the Terran army isn't going home. It's got an objective, and it wants to take out this natural. Okay, Zerglings are still flying around. Looks like the Ultralisks are irradiated. Kind of forgotten about. The meat grinder here. Okay, I like that we've mixed in a couple of fire bats. So in the event that Dark Swarm does come down, we can still get some damage. And Zerg has kind of struggled getting an army bigger than this. It seems like whenever we have an army about this size, it tends to, you know, get thrown across the map, and it just runs into a ton of Marines and tanks, and it really struggles to find some damage. So we'll see if CrimsonJoe is able to mass more, especially with this additional gas, right? So he's up on 3 gas now, and he may be able to start pumping out more Ultralisk, tech up to Defiler, and he's getting a Nidus here too, which is going to open up a separate avenue, because Terran's really had this path on lockdown for the majority of this game. But if Zerg starts hitting from the top right and forces the Terran's attention on 2 fronts, depending on how they react to that, that could get Crimson back in this game. That's if he survives this push. The Marines are coming in. They're hot and heavy. These Sunkens are not going to last long. They are going down left and right. There's only a few Zerglings here at the Zerg base. Oh, I didn't even notice this is mined out. The Terran army is just rolling through this. Oh, I didn't even see the drop. I just saw the extractor explode, and I was like, how'd that happen? Oh, maybe because there's an army dropped here. Hot and heavy Marines are in your area, Manshark. You know it. Oh man, I think this is all she wrote. I think our Zerg hero is going to be going down here in a hail of bullets. GG. That was fun to watch. That was a good one. All right, let's go ahead and head back to our handy dandy scorecard. Let's go ahead and give CrimsonJoe an L, Seventhnadir a W. Save that so it pops up. Boom. There we go. And now let's go into our third match of the day, and this is gonna be CrimsonJoe versus Nate. It looks like we're getting all the CrimsonJoe matches like right up front. So we're gonna have CrimsonJoe versus Nate, and then we're gonna end up having Shimmer versus CrimsonJoe. So we're gonna get a lot of Zerg action. What did I say it was? CrimsonJoe versus Nate. All right, this is gonna be another ZVT. And I just have the CPL anthem stuck in my head right now. I just love that song. You know, I was one of the people, because like that song's you know, ASL stole that song for their own opening, and when I was watching ASL, I heard that song and I was just so pumped, and I was trying everything to find it. I was like Shazamming it. I was like Googling. I was like in the Reddit forums, like, what's the opening to the ASL song? I didn't realize it was like a custom song. Like, obviously, if you listen to the lyrics, of course it is, but it's like a custom song that they had like produced for themselves just for that opening. And there's no like full song. But someone should do that, or tell AI to do that. Just extend it for like 3 minutes, because it's a banger. So, looking at our game, up here in the top left, our red Terran. Wait. Break the wall, fight the war. Wait, so it is a song? So all that work I did, you just knew the answer? Alright, we'll talk after this. Okay, so anyway, top left, we have our red Terran, CPL Nate. So Nate. And in the bottom right, we've got our blue Zerg, CrimsonJoe, who just fought a ZVT as well. And in his ZVT, some of the things that we saw, right? We saw gajillion queens. We saw Ultralisks, like fast Ultralisks. Like before Spire or even Hydroden, I think he had that queen's nest out as soon as his layer was done. We saw him try to take expansions out in the corners, right? Wasn't so successful in the bottom right, but in the top right he was, but it was a little bit late to really capitalize on. So those are some of the things that I want to see if he continues in this game versus Nate, or if he adjusts and maybe goes Mutalisk or something a little bit more standard than what we just saw. All right, so here for Nate, we do have a wall off, and this wall off is happening at the top of the ramp. And when there's walls, gosh, it always reminds me, what's that Shia LaBeouf movie? You know, it was based on a book. Holes, that's right, holes. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the holes of this wall. There's going to be one here. I don't know if there's one here, but we'll see if any Zerglings can kind of squirt through there. We have a hatchery going down at the natural. Gas and spawning pool underway. Now the Overlord's going to come over here. He's going to see this SCV, I think. And we're also not seeing... oh, I might be getting the games already mixed up, but I don't think... Last game, or maybe it was the game before against the Protoss, we saw the drone scout, right? We saw the Overlord head out. We saw the drone scout head out. I actually think that was the Protoss game. But he did it again here. And it does look like CrimsonJoe did get eyes on where the Terran spawn is. So he knows it's going to be cross spawn. And he's starting a third hatchery relatively quick. Okay, so we might see some heavy Ling play early on. We have 4 being morphed right now. Only 1 drone on gas. And he is throwing down a creep colony. Okay, so we got some Zergling holes here. We have a factory. And an armory. We're going mech, baby! Okay. Yeah, Goliaths can be a thing in TVZ. Starting off with a Vulture. We'll see if he ends up harassing with these two. Or if he's just going to try to use them for defense for a little bit. After that SCV, he hasn't really been out on the map right now. He's taking his time. Nate is expanding. He's bringing a bunker down here to the front with this barracks. And I'm really kind of curious on how he's going to approach this mech. Because he is also getting a machine shop very quickly instead of going straight into Goliath production. But I'm also waiting to see if he throws down a second factory. Because there's a world where he could go starport, I guess. Alright, there's the second factory. Alright, yeah, we're probably going to see heavy Goliath play this game. We'll see if there is a Spire. No, we're going Hydralisks. You know, and these Vultures, I think, could actually get a lot done. Let's see if it happens, though. So he's going to kill this one probe. Now, the Sunken's here. It'll probably knock out one of these Vultures. Yeah, there it goes. But if he parks back here, yeah, he could be super annoying. All right, so right now, what's the drone kill count? We're at 2. We've killed some Lings. 3. Not bad. 3 drones and some lost mining time. Never mad about that. And they're still there. And what we're doing is we're putting down another creep colony. Did the Lings kill the drone? Oh my gosh, accidental A move there. All right, we got 2 Marines in the bunker. The expansion's up. We have the SCV transfer happening. We have a 3rd factory going down. Not seeing anything coming out of them, though. We have 1 Goliath. No upgrades here, but we are going straight into Goliath range. So the Vultures did come up here, and they did end up getting cleaned up, but they didn't get into the main. Right? So we still don't know what the Zerg tech is. And with this type of build, you are a little blind. He doesn't have an academy, right? He's not able to get scanners on his CCs to just kind of zap out there and see what's going on. So he is kind of just relying on the power of the mech build to try to fend off any issues that he may encounter. And we do have plating being upgraded, which is pretty standard for going a Goliath opening. Got another hatchery at the natural. Let's go. So we're at 4 hatcheries right now. Hydralisk's the spitting range is being upgraded. Hydralugi's on the way. Now we're still only on, what is this? Okay, we got 2 on gas now. Getting a second extractor. And just pumping Hydralisks. Here we go. Over here we've got 3 Goliaths, 4 Goliaths, 7. Bunch more underway. We're a little supply blocked right now. And we are getting some turrets. So with the lack of information, makes sense, right? The most dangerous thing that could really happen right now is a bunch of Mutalisks come out of nowhere and just start ruining your day, which at this level as well is just like really hard for Terran to deal with. I'm just loving this. I'm loving this triple hatch down here. Very different than what we saw the last ZVT. You know, I'm really liking the army here for CrimsonJoe, but I do wish that he was building more drones. Sitting at 25 drones right now. And neither player really doing a whole lot on the map. Now we have an SCV kind of running around because, again, keep in mind with this build, Nate is still kind of blind, right? He's kind of, this is a little bit more turtley from him. And then generally once the plating is done, that's when you grab all your Goliaths and you start just marching across the map. But he is getting an academy now, but he's not going to need it because the information is coming to him. We've got Hydralisks and a big old conga line coming right across the map. And they're just going! They're going for it! Most of the Goliaths are up here in the main, too. So the bunker goes down. The Hydralisks spitting on everything. Loogies flying through the air. Spikes hitting these Goliaths. This barracks, not long for this world, but it is tanking a lot of shots. It would almost be more effective if these Hydralisks were just shooting stuff. Dudes and Goliaths. Okay, Hydralisks taking out Goliaths on the ramp. A little bit of a traffic jam here, proving to be very helpful for our Zerg player. Good amount of SCVs falling as well. Now there's some reinforcements in the form of Hydralisks, but I think this number of Goliaths is going to be able to clean it up, but not before so many SCVs go down. This was like an entire mineral line just evaporated. And I really liked the confidence in which Joe just threw the Hydralisk at it. There was like no pause. The Hydralisk just ran straight up and just started spitting. Here we go again. He's target firing them down one at a time. Probably getting a little bit more value than he would have otherwise. A couple more Hydralisks coming to join the fun. Get in on this party. And the Goliath count has really been set back to the Stone Age. Bringing in a couple Vultures, a couple more Goliaths. Now, I think that this attack is going to end up petering out. And behind this, you know, Joe's sending a few more Hydralisks, a couple Lings. What I really want to see is I want to see Joe expand. I want to see him take up some bases while he's doing this because he's really setting the Terran army back as far as their army count. All right, a couple Goliaths being aggroed forward. They are going to fall to these Hydralisks. Ooh, now we got tanks. Okay, so now let's see where we're at after the dust has settled. We do have some comsats now. I don't know if he's used them. I couldn't really tell from that, maybe. Since there is some visibility over the main base, I think he probably did get some at some point. But we do have comsats now. He's starting to repopulate his natural expansions mineral line. Siege mode is on the way. +1 weapons to soon join +1 plating. Factory count is growing to 4. What else is being built up here? And a starport is being started. Okay. He's rebuilt the barracks. And this is definitely going to hold. This is actually pretty big. Joe needs to not shave off units too aggressively here. Now let's take a look at the Zerg, right? So, oh, we must have had a bunch of drones at a rally point during that fight. So he's getting all of them, hopefully to start mining. Oh no! This might have been some sort of weird misclick. Or you know what he probably did? He had them all selected and then thought he selected a hatchery and like hit S or whatever his like select larva button is. Oh, that hurts. Okay, but he has them, right? So we're up at 32 drones, which is a little bit of a jump from where we were before the fight. So 3 hatcheries here. Let's see in the main. Let's see where we're going. We got another hatchery up here. So we're at 5 hatcheries for production, and we're going Evo chambers. So we're going to start getting upgrades. We're going to continue to go into this this Hydralisk type of play. So very different approach than he took from the game with the last game that we saw him play. And he's going to need an answer for these tanks. I don't know. This just looks really scary to me. I think pure Hydralisk is going to struggle against a composition like this. Okay, now CrimsonJoe doing what I like to see. We have a double expansion going on down here in the south. And Nate's kind of holed up here. Now, I think he's going to be able to break out. I really don't want Joe to commit to this. All right, he is going to pull back a little bit. Like, just let the Terran have some space, and we'll see if he decides to push, right? Like, it's one of those keep an eye on the army, and if they overextend, then pounce on them. All right, so kind of, you know, a little bit of a skirmish here with a small group of Hydralisks to buy some time. He's amassing more Hydralisks. We do have a Spire being built as well. Okay, good. So he's effectively, you know, delayed the Terran force from just walking straight into the Zerg base. But he is still kind of slowly marching along. All right, big fight here. Once this siege pops up, these Hydralisks are just going to melt. Joe needs to not engage this. The Hydralisks are coming in, but they're just getting mowed down. Huge line of Hydralisk guts. There must be a rally up here. Some of these Hydralisks are just bebopping straight up to that spot. Okay, so the tables have turned a little bit, but what's different about this is that Joe is getting Spire, which, I mean, still a lot of Goliaths out here, but at least something that can start picking them off if they wander away from the group or start getting some tanks. That was yucky, by the way. Like, holy cow, that Zerg force just got annihilated. But the difference here with this contain the Terran is holding versus what the Zerg was holding is Zerg has got 2 additional bases now. And so I want to see that economy start pumping up, which is a really tough balance when you're losing so many units here at the front line. Now, Terran is also not remaining idle. Nate has gotten his 3rd base. He's getting his 3rd gas online. And he's continuing to reinforce his front lines. So where, you know, if the Spire comes up and he has the opportunity to start building air, because right now he's building everything he can just to stay alive. But if he can start squirting out some Mutalisks, they could probably do some pretty decent harassment on the 3rd, maybe even the natural. I do see some turrets going up, though, so we'll have to see. Oh, no! Don't just run in! Ah! Sacrificing themselves. For free. See, yeah, there's got to be a rally up here in range. Siege tank is 8 kills. A couple kills on this one. This Goliath has 8. 5, 6. You can just 13. You can just see the value that this mech army is getting. And I think at this point, I don't know what you would do as the Zerg. This is a lot. And, you know, Nate, if he's just careful, he can just leapfrog this in. And there's the GG. Great game. Great game. Congratulations to Nate for winning that round. So let's go ahead and go to our handy-dandy scorecard. And let's make these adjustments. All right, there it is. Okay, up next, we've got Shimmer versus CrimsonJoe. This is going to be our last CrimsonJoe match of the day. Let's go ahead and find it in the old replay folder. We've got Shimmer versus CrimsonJoe. So Shimmer is a Protoss. So this is going to be a PVZ. go. Blue Protoss, top left. Shimmer. Bottom right, our red Zerg. CrimsonJoe. He's had a rough patch in this group. But we'll see what he does here. Trying to think. He played Dazzle. Oh, that's right. Dazzle was the game that was really, really short. So I don't think we got to see exactly what his game plan would be against a Protoss, right? And we saw that he has a couple of different strategies when facing Terran. So we'll see if he has a couple different strategies when he faces Protoss as well. Because what we did see was he did go hatchery first, built a bunch of lings, he walled off his ramp, and then there was that pivotal moment during the Dazzle game, right, where Dazzle built that pylon behind the Naturals mineral line, and it pulled all of the Zerglings away from the main to attack that, and then Dazzle cleverly snuck his Zealots right into the main base, and it was kind of GG from there. So I feel like that was kind of like a one-off situation that would occur, and I think if with a little bit less committal from the Zerglings early on, that same game plan might be seen here. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Got the initial pylon down here at the wall of the natural. We'll see if this is a forward 2 gate, because one cool thing about CPL, right, is a lot of these replays are uploaded. And so, well, I guess you wouldn't see it if it was in the same week, but what you can do is you can go in, you can find the replays of the people you're playing, prepare for them, see what they work well with, what they struggle against. But that's not going to be the case here. We are going to see a forge go down, and Shimmer is going to be kind of doing that forge fast expand that's so common in Protoss vs Zerg. Probe is going to find the Zerg's house here on the second scout. Zapped that larva into morphing into a drone. And we have another drone scout as well. This seems to be something that CrimsonJoe prefers to do. Send an overlord in one location, drone scout straight across the map to the cross spawn location. And he is going to see the wall. He's going to identify where the Protoss main is. And he's going to know that he's up against a standard forge fast expand. Ooh, the drone's going to get all the way up into the main. It does. So he's going to have the full scout. He's going to know there's no shenanigans. Nothing weird going on up here behind this. There's no fake. Before it goes and just dies in front of a cannon. Pulsing Brain at the natural, going to become a beautiful hatchery one day, and the spawning pool is almost completed. We are getting the extractor. Now, this is kind of about where we're a little bit before where we saw CrimsonJoe versus Dazzle kind of go off the rails. So he's going to get these 4 Zerglings. He didn't run across the map with them last time or anything. He kept them at home. He parked them in front of the ramp. And then he got a few more. I think he had somewhere around 8. Like, he's Zerglinged up pretty heavily. We didn't see this last time either. So he's getting a third hatchery down here at the natural. And this was more akin to what we saw him do last match against the Terrans. So this is kind of his defensive, get a colony, get the hatchery, start teching up. Meanwhile, over here at the Protoss base, we do have the gateway being thrown on here. And this spawn is kind of nice, having the gateway so that the Zealots and the Dragoons and whatever can pop out here inside the wall as opposed to outside. So this will be a nice wall for the Protoss player. We've got Evolution Chamber, we've got double Evolution Chamber. And another creep colony. I think there might be some scar tissue from that Dazzle game. Because look at this Sim City. Like, Zealots aren't going to be able to easily walk in here. And even if they do, there's not going to be much surface area for them to start, you know, like chopsticking up these Sunkens. But he needs to make drones. He's making a lot of buildings right now. And that every time you make a building, you lose a drone. So the economy is struggling a little bit right now. Okay, Overlord taking its sweet time, coming up here to the top left. We have a Zealot tucked in neatly here behind the forge. And +1 melee weapons being researched. Now for the Protoss, we also have the Stargate going up. So we have the Cybernetics Core getting air weapons and the Stargate. So we're going to have to see how CrimsonJoe reacts to the Corsair play from Shimmer. You know, and I was saying earlier that, you know, the Zealots and everything would pop out on this side. I don't think that's the case. I think the cannon's actually blocking that spawn location in the bottom left. And so, unfortunately, the Zealots are popping out outside the wall. All right, so we are going up to layer. We're getting our Hydra Den. And it does look like the Overlords aren't all over the map. So this will be helpful when the Corsairs come out, in the sense that they're not going to just be scattered and getting sniped off all over the place. He's going to lose this one, almost guaranteed. But the rest of them can stay home and get some Hydralisks, and the Hydralisks can hang out and just protect them while he continues to tech up and build up his army. Yeah, so the Corsair is out. It's immediately going to go and zap this this Overlord that's just like, don't tase me, bro. Corsair doesn't care. Lots of probes. We're sitting at 35 probes for our Protoss player. Nexus, Sizz, Nexi continuing to blink, which is good to see. And the Corsair count is growing. We're getting Zealot legs as well. And we're getting our, whatever it's called, Templar Archives. So, Storm in the near future. And a Spore Colony. Interesting spot for the Spore Colony. Oh, there's another one up here. Okay. Yeah, this SimCity is like nothing. He doesn't want to let anything get through here. Unfortunately, the Corsairs can fly, so they're just going to go around. But there is another Spore Colony up here in the main. And there's not much to shoot at. Like, he's going to shoot at these Overlords, but the Spore Colonies, like, Spore Colonies are really strong. They're going to shoot those Corsairs away pretty fast. Still sitting at 24 drones, unfortunately, but making more. But a lot of them have just gone into creep colonies, right, to form all of this defense. Okay, now up here at the Protoss base, wondering when we're going to start High Templar production. We have Storm being researched. About a third of the way done at this point. Okay, now we have a little bit of a move out. Now, I don't think these Zealots are going to be able to really do a whole lot. Man, they're so fast I can't even click on them. Look, they walk with such confidence, you know? They're just like, yeah. But they're shuffling down here to the bottom right. And I don't think they're going to get a whole lot done. But what they can do is they can scout around and look for a third, which Joe hasn't taken. But it's definitely a good idea for the Protoss to start flying around. I was actually thinking, looking at their camera here, just seeing what they have seen. Like, you can see the entire bottom left quadrant really hasn't been scouted. So there is a world where if Crimson was feeling frisky, he could go out there and probably slap down a hatchery, like we saw kind of last game against the Terran player. Right, it does look like Joe's going to be grabbing a third up here at the 3 o'clock. If the dang army would get out of the way. Freaking Hank the Hydralisk here, holding up production. And there we go. Hydralisk, not Hydralisk, hatchery being morphed. Okay, we've got Hydralugis being researched. Not much else from a tech perspective, but we have both evolution chambers going full bore on upgrades. So they're going to be +1/+1 with range. Meanwhile, we've got our confident Protoss bouncers just running around the map. And I feel like it's only a matter of time until they actually come down here and scout the 3 o'clock. So this has a clock on when it's going to be discovered. There's a couple things that he can do. He has the army here that can defend, right? I don't know how well this would fare against that number of Zealots, but I think that this move out, when it approaches these Dragoons out here in the natural base, is actually going to pull these Zealots back. But you know what? I think the Zealots are going to get there first. Yep. Here comes Hank. Let's see if Hank, the hatchery delayer, goes down. He doesn't, but no, Protoss knows. Ooh, and actually a prudent retreat here from the Protoss, as this little extra squad of reinforcements would have surely taken it out. Okay, the Dragoons are pushing back this little contingent. Okay, now I think individually this Protoss army can knock out this group of Hydralisks and then move down and kill the other group. But if they were together and getting a flank with like a little bit better timing, I think that would have went very well for the Zerg player. But right now, I don't think this is looking too hot. Oh man. And he didn't even have to waste any of his storms. So storms are still at the ready. We're getting more creep colonies. 32 drones. What do we got here? Another hatchery. What is our hatchery count? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hatch Hydra. A big old Protoss army just chilling. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Protoss base. We've got additional armor being upgraded. So we're at +1. So this is +2 that's underway. We've got a third base being warped in. We're at 8 gateways. This changed a lot since the last time we looked. We haven't been here in a minute. Observatory, Robo facility. Haven't seen anything come out of the Robo facility yet. I think he's prepared for lurkers. So you can start spitting out observers when needed. But right now we're just chilling. We're chilling, we're gathering our forces here, and he's preparing to knock out this third base, which is pretty lightly defended, right? We got a handful of Zerglings, a sunken that's kind of far back, right, behind the hatchery. Oh, but look at this! 12 lurkers! Oh man, how many lurkers would you like? Yes, all of them. I would like all of the lurkers, please. And he still has some gas. But here comes the move out. So I'm not a betting man, but I would say this 3 o'clock is dead. But if he can trap the Protoss army in there with his 12 lurkers, that'd be a cool move. Alright, some of these Dragoons are being kind of derpy, but it doesn't matter because Zealots are good. And here comes the lurkers. Okay, so we may have just sprung the biggest trap of the century. Shimmer left. Oh my gosh. Shimmer just left. I feel like that was Shimmer's game. Holy cow. Wow. Tilting lurkers. I did not expect that. I truly did not expect that. I kind of want to just go back a little bit. We're at 136 to 76 when these were being morphed. Wow. Biggest trap of the century right there. That's highlight reel worthy. Congratulations, CrimsonJoe. You got a solid trap sprung on Shimmer. And I hope to see him back. I don't like hearing that anyone leaves after something like that, but I definitely understand getting tilted after an event. Okay, so that's going to be an L for Shimmer and a W for CrimsonJoe. So that's it for CrimsonJoe games, right? So CrimsonJoe is at 1 for 3 in this group. Now let's go into the next game. We got 3 left. We're more than halfway done in game count. We got Seventhnadir, who likes to go by 8th Nadir in game. So don't be confused. It's the same Nadir versus Nate. So let's go ahead and open that one up. Ooh, we've got a TVT. So buckle up, grab a drink, go to the bathroom, or, you know, watch this from the bathroom. Whatever you need to do. This may take a while. Oh, he did come back. Okay, good. Trying to show you guys the game. And there it is. Okay, so we've got Terran. Terran all over the place. We've got Seventhnadir up here in the top left as our blue Terran. And we've got Nate, our red Terran, here in the bottom left. Yeah, so we get to wait while both these players build a supply depot, barracks, and a gas. I don't know if we'll see much cheese. As kind of mentioned in the last cast, if you saw it, like, this is CPL preseason, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's like an unwritten rule, but it's really counterproductive to cheese your opponents. as we're trying to get effective MMRs so that everyone's placed correctly during the actual season. And cheeses can kind of skew that. So it's kind of understood that you're going to have a normal-ish game. Nate, a little late here on the depot. And if you're not in CPL and you happen to fall into this Twitch somehow just by accident, you should join it. It's for everybody. As you can see, we're looking at some of the lower number groups, but there's everyone from brand new all the way to super skilled, mega awesome, and there's coaches that help you once the season starts. Everyone gets assigned to a team, and it's a great community. And it has an awesome theme song. And we have this guy called Beat. Oh man, if you like hearing rants like we saw the Tilt last game, if you like Tilt, CPL has it all. It has it all. And as mentioned before, we are seeing a depot, barracks, gas. Okay, so 13th supply, I guess it was around 14th supply. Seventhnadir is sending his SCV out. Pretty standard timing. And he's going to actually get first scout. He's going to go down here to the bottom left, and he's going to know right off the bat where Nate is. And I always like mentioning this because I know as a player, it just feels so good when you get the first scout. It's like, okay, one less thing to worry about. I know what I'm facing within the first 3-4 minutes of the game. And I don't have to, be afraid. Or I know to be afraid. I can adjust my fear accordingly. All right, Nate's going to head over here to the bottom right. He's going to be like, oh, shucks, not here. And we're going into a factory. So both players getting their factories. Now we've got a double factory here. Okay, so this is a little bit different. And I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing this from Nate. Or if he's going to expand first, or if he's going to get a machine shop first, or what's going to go on. But this isn't always seen, and I think this is going to be the first variation we're going to see in this mirror match. Okay, we're floating the barracks. We'll see if he drops it down here, or if he floats it straight up to where he believes the enemy base to be. We see that as well from Seventhnadir, who corrected his name for this match. Thank you. And Nate has found Nader's base up here in the top left. And he's also going to see this, right? So he's going to be like, okay, got it. Double fact, not seeing an expansion yet. This could be a 2-factory vulture all in. And that's kind of what we're seeing from Nader, right? So we're seeing 2 vultures getting produced. We're having mines being researched. Down here, we're getting a bunker. Prudent choice. But we got to be careful because the vultures, right, they can sneak right by. And he's going to have to start getting his own. So he's starting his own vulture production. He gets one, then gets the machine shop. And really, I think the name of this game and the big deciding point is going to be, can Nate hold the initial vulture pressure that Nader's going to bring? If he can, right? Like if he gets a tank out or something, and it doesn't get sniped, or some sort of crazy mine drag, because mines are kind of the great equalizer, then we could see his economic lead really take off. So 1 vulture, 2 vulture, they poke in. Now he needs to be really careful here. This vulture's aggroed. And 2 beats 1 in most cases. Oh, and it's not even shooting at the hurt one. Okay, so now we got 3 vultures. Oh, buddy. This is the time. Right, ladies and gentlemen? This is where things are starting to get exciting. We've got mines being dropped all over the place. Oh, and he picks the vulture off right as the SCV showed up to repair it. He's just mining everything. And running away. Brave Sir Vulture. Running bravely away. Got more vultures coming. It does look like we're transitioning to tank production. No siege mode as of yet. We're getting vulture speed. So the vulture fight is in Nader's advantage right now, but we do have the second base up and running for Nate. Now, he is still behind on SCV count. So right now the benefit is primarily just efficiency and the ability to make 2 at a time. So over a little bit of time, this expansion should help out. Now Nader's getting his own, but he needs to make sure that he contains Nate. And these mines are going to do a great job at that, right? There's a lot of them. There's a point where you can kind of move through them, but losing a tank to mines feels absolutely awful. So he's going to need to probably get scanners or something to ideally see those. We are getting an armory. We have our second fact. 2 tanks here, 2 tanks here. 4 vultures versus no vultures. Okay. Now the barracks has arrived for Nate. Gonna be checking it out. He sees that there is an expansion. And I think we're going to stabilize here a little bit. Getting an armory up here for Nader. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so we are seeing Goliath production here from Nate. So Nate does have his barracks floating in here, but he doesn't know if there's going to be some sort of Wraith follow-up or anything weird like that. So the Goliaths can help counter that. Goliaths are also a phenomenal counter for Vultures. So after seeing the amount of Vultures that he did, it kind of makes sense. Get some tanks, get some Goliaths, and you should be good. This might actually be that build. I know there's a build that's really just like fast expand tank Goliath. That's kind of looking like what Nate's doing right now. And it's meant to counter the early Vulture play. Okay, we got 4 tanks. Is Siege Mode done? I know Nader's just now getting Siege Mode. But I haven't done a very good job of keeping an eye on the upgrades for Nate. Nate is getting a Starport and Academy, though. So the Academy's already up. We don't see Comsats yet. But we do have a Starport being built. Now, this is a scary contain, though. This sucks. In a TVT, it always feels great to be the Terran that has this. Because then you can go get your third. You know exactly what the other Terran's doing. When you're the one that's contained, you got to start thinking, okay, do I need to go drop ships? This is a miserable feeling. And he's got the barracks here. Barracks is alive and healthy. This one's on fire. And this can get that vision for the tanks and really help the containing player maintain this containment. So the siege mode's done. It's up. Barracks moving forward, and he got an enormous first volley off. Now it doesn't. Oh man. Okay, so he does have siege mode, but he's a little outnumbered here. This engagement looks rough. Oh my goodness. It was like a Revolutionary War like firing line. It was like rifles up, fire. That's kind of what that reminded me of, because they were just all in a line, ready to go. It was like the barracks commanded them. It was like siege and fire. Okay, and that's the GG. So I guess he didn't have to buckle up. That was a relatively quick TVT. Great game by both players, and you can just see how TVT could be so volatile depending on those initial tank volleys, right? All right, let's go ahead and head back to our scoreboard. Oh, I skipped Dazzle. My bad. Who won that? Nader. Okay, so Nader gets the W. Nate gets the L. And we'll go back now, and we'll do the Seventhnadir versus Dazzle match. That was an accident. Okay, Seventhnadir versus Dazzle, TVP. Let's knock it out. Ew, yellow versus yellow. All right, I guess we got red versus pink, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so up here in the top left, our pink Protoss, Dazzle. Bottom left, our red Terran is Seventhnadir. How many accounts does he have? I think last time the S was capitalized. It's like every time he's playing with a new account. I'm not going to blast anybody. I don't care. If you guys want, I can watch it yellow versus yellow. Really force you all to focus. I think first red is fine. In caster information, that's the rule. Blast the players for not using top versus bottom. Ew, it's in the rule to play in shield battery? No one plays on shield battery. Alright, we got pylon going down. Got barracks going down. So far, so good. I'm excited for this one. I'm looking at the records as well. So Dazzle, we've seen Dazzle play once, and he has 1 win. We've seen Nader play twice, and he's got 2 wins. So both these players are undefeated right now in this group. So this should be a banger. Barracks going down. Now, supply depot's on the left of the barracks. Which I don't think is zealot tight, is the point I'm making. But I suck at these walls. I think Firehex, I think you're in the chat. You've tried to coach me a million times on walls and tearing holes, and I just don't get it. I don't get holes. I don't understand it. Alright, gateway going down here at the top of the ramp. Simulator being completed. Probe down here being super annoying, as probes always do. It's probably going to kill this SCV. Okay, no, he runs away. The SCV building the barracks is fine. Cybernetics core going down. Okay, so we're going to see the normal TVP dance of Dragoons with range running down. Wow, this probe's actually still here. I thought he ran away. Okay, still being a nuisance. And we're getting another supply depot. Okay, so this will be, yeah, so like right there, that's the hole that the Marine can go through that the Zealot can't. The problem here is that this SimCity is down here, which is a little unique, I think, because it's not very close to like the gas or any of the mineral line up here. So like if a Zealot came in and you ran your Marines all the way back here to start doing your circles and start engaging, doing, you know, 400 APM to defend your entire game while the Protoss just A-moved a Zealot in, like, that Zealot could just come up here and just start wrecking house. So we'll have to see how that goes. Right now we're not seeing any Zealot pressure, though. We are seeing a jump straight into Dragoons, so I don't think it's going to become an issue at all. And we're likely going to see a bunker here after the CC. Okay, CC is down. We've stopped Marine production, so we've got our 3 Marines. Looks like we're going to be getting our bunker now. Getting a Vulture. We haven't returned to gas yet. That's something to keep in mind. Okay, there's the bunker. I wasn't sure. He had 2 SCVs down here, and he had this guy over here. I wasn't sure if he was going to do something a little bit different. But he is getting his bunker. I don't know why the Marines came back. Oh, they might have been selected with that other SCV. So they're going to run back down here, get in the bunker. It looks like the Vulture's going to hang out. No, he's going to... Okay. Playing with my emotions here. What are you doing? Okay, they're all going to hang out right here. And we do have a pair of Dragoons coming down. Okay, so they're going to start the Dragoon dance. The dance of the Dragoons. And they're going to start shooting this bunker with range. Now, that generally means we need to get a tank, but we don't have a machine shop yet. We are getting a 3rd Vulture before the machine shop. So I've seen a lot of these factory fast expands. Generally, you get the machine shop after like that 1st Vulture, and then you make 2nd and 3rd or adjust as needed. And with this many SCVs, he's going to have to re-click this like a million times. Because you can see, right? Like, he's not repairing it. Because he's repairing too fast. Okay, there we go. We've stabilized a little bit. I'm curious what this guy's doing. What's up, little probie? Okay. We'll come back. We'll keep an eye on you. Vulture heading up here. We don't have mines, obviously, right? Machine shop was just completed. And we do have a tank coming out. But the Dragoons have already taken off. They're already heading back home. They're going to sit here and secure the natural for the Protoss. Getting another gateway, and we're getting a robotics facility. So we'll probably see an observatory soon. And mines are about halfway completed. And it looks like Nader will likely go to the potential expansion locations of the Protoss and start dropping some mines there. For both visibility and to delay. So these are going to hang out, I think, for a minute. There's the observatory. And we're getting a second factory with a second add-on. Eat the probe down here. Doing probe things. Yeah, okay, so there's the mine at the potential expansion. A couple more on the path. Alright, and I think they're probably out of mines. Maybe one more left in the tank. No, they're both out. So they're just going to go exploring now. We are building up this Dragoon count to a pretty decent level. And we're getting Citadel and Forge. Another Vulture joining the party. We've got 3 tanks at home. Okay, we are getting an eBay. This is good. This will help defend, I expect likely a turret down here towards the front of the natural at a minimum to protect any type of like DT play that might just walk in the front door. Maybe a couple turrets up here to prevent any type of Reaver drops or anything along those lines. We'll see how he ends up playing that. Because he is a little blind right now. Right? We don't have an academy or anything. We haven't been up in the Protoss' base for a hot minute. And Siege is just now completing for Nader as well as Vulture speed. So we've got 4 tanks. We've got a grip of Vultures floating around the map. We might be approaching a time where Terran may want to push. But now that the Observer's out, it's also likely that we could see the Protoss start doing like mine clearing operations, right? And he's bringing a probe along. So he has the full intention here of expanding to the 3rd. Now, I don't know if 7thnadir is going to react to this or not. But this might be a good opportunity to push forward and either take his own 3rd or try to contain the Protoss and deny their 3rd. Now, there is an Observer just chilling here, seeing everything. So no sneaky plays going to be available to 7thnadir here. And we are seeing him use the turrets as more of a ring to dissuade any type of drops, arbiter play, things like that. But nothing inside, right? So like if a Reaver does come in, some anti-Reaver turrets would be actually like closer to the CC. And it also helps with keeping these dang observers out of your base. I also want to note, Pete the Probe has ran off. Looks like he decided to park up here. Okay. Both players powering up. Not a whole lot to note. Gateway explosion. Looks like we're transitioning to a little bit more zealots mixed into the production. More observers. But with the exception of this guy, he's keeping the other observers like with his army. Good amount of tanks. Okay, so he is taking his own 3rd. Looks like he's going to try to secure it first or get some turrets down in preparation before he just drops it. And I wouldn't be surprised as well if he tries to put some mines here. Maybe siege up a couple tanks. But he may not have time to do so. Looks like Protoss is starting to feel frisky. Getting the observers out and about on the map. Vultures starting to go exploring. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing here. I guess just a staging point. Oh my gosh, there's nothing here. Okay, so I expect the reaction from Protoss. Yeah, he's going to bring back his whole army. He's like, oh shit, 3rd. And here we go. Vultures are just like, hey, what's up? And they just completely mug this 3rd. They kill all the probes there. We get a couple good mine shots. Protoss is probably feeling a little scared now. So now he's taking his 3rd down here at his own triangle. So this is good. This is good. We'll see if there's any additional move out or taking of space from the Terran, but it looks like he might be happy with just kind of that limited gain, right? Knock out the probes at the 3rd, take your own 3rd, and make sure that balance, that economy, is in your favor. A lot of observers out. And right now in the production tab for Protoss, you can see he's just 7 gateways making Dragoons. Just pumping the units. Now here on Terran, we have 6 factories. What else we got? We do have a starport. We're getting a science facility. So it looks like the starport and the science facility primarily there to start getting those +3 upgrades. All right, mine clearing operation. Ooh, okay, so this is fine. He's gonna clear all those mines, but now Terran knows that they're coming. And he's pretty well prepared. Wow, somehow he's going right down here to this corner, and this is definitely the weakest link in this siege line. All right, let's see how this engagement goes. The siege tanks just blasting away. Vulture's doing a good job of staying in between the tanks and the zealots. And that Protoss army gets repelled very easily. This is starting to look good for our Terran player. Better and better with each engagement. Now I want to check on some upgrades, right? So we're at +1 weapons. We're +1 weapons. +1 weapons. Okay, and we've got armor, +1 armor going up for both players. This third base still hasn't really recovered from that attack, right? So Terran came up here, schwacked this with a gajillion vultures. What's a group of vultures called? It's not a flock. It's not a murder. That's ravens. We'll call them a boy band. So a whole boy band of vultures came up here and just completely schwacked this third base. And during the counterattack, I just don't think that there was a whole lot of additional macro going on filling it in. Okay. Terran's looking good. Terran's actually ahead in workers right now. Bromance. Yeah, bromance of vultures. This stupid observer. This is one of those observers where, like, you look in the replay and you're just like, no way. That was there the whole time. Oh, man. Now, the science vessel's going to see it. I don't know if he saw it, though. In the great words of Artosis, king of the losers, seeing is not always seeing. Okay. Here goes our bromance. Oh my gosh, is he going straight up to this fourth base that just completed? It is. He might force the cancel. Now, what is Protoss going to do? Is he going to just go and push? Or is he going to come back? And it looks like he's sending a small contingent of Dragoons, but these guys, they're going to take forever to deal with these spider mines. And these vultures, I think it's like 8,000 shots required from a vulture to kill a Nexus. Plus or minus 1,000. And they are going to knock this down. So this Nexus is going to fall. Oh, man. I bet Dazzle's kicking himself for not canceling that. And he's not really counterattacking either, which is probably a good idea, because there's a lot of tanks here. He needs something tech-wise, right? He needs some storms, or he needs some arbiters. He needs some carriers or something, right? I mean, carriers are always great. But this is a pretty tough siege line to break, especially with this terrain, because the Dragoons can't really shoot over it, and the Zealots are forced on either side, right? So, like, using this terrain right here for the bulk of his siege tanks is a really strong position here for our Terran player. And I think we'll see how this goes, but Terran... Herself? Who's self? Which one of these people am I mispronouncing? Alright, anyway. Protoss moving forward. Tanks sieging up. Now the Zealots are pushing through, but this is a pretty deep line. Okay, Dazzle. My bad, Dazzle. That's a poor assumption on my part. And here we go. Okay, so, Goons. Oh, there's a DT in the mix, but it's gonna hit. Okay, that mine was just not trying hard enough. It was over there just raving. Oh my goodness. These siege tanks are just killing everything. Now, no visibility on this DT. Somehow it's still alive. It's just running around, back and forth. Oof. Let's see. Okay. Vulture kills his buddy. I guess that bromance was over. Alright. Dust is settled. Where are we at? If we look at the supply, Seventhnadir up 127 to 112. Third base, looking real good. Main, still healthy. Natural, healthy. Let's take a look at the Protoss. Army, rebuilding, right? Dazzle's got a lot of gas, though. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And you can look in the production tab. We're getting upgrades. We're getting reavers. We're getting shuttles. We are having a tech change, right? Or a change in strategy. And if there's anything that can flip a game on its head, it's freaking reavers, man. Oh my gosh. A good reaver hit, like one reaver just slugging around real slowly, could just kill all these vultures in one shot by accident. Like, you don't even have to pay attention to it. Ooh, good mine. Okay, so Nader leading Dazzle's army around the top portion of the map. Dazzle bringing her army down south. There's more mines, but the observers here are going to keep everyone pretty safe. And I'm not sure what the goal is with this army, because we know that the siege line's too deep. So I don't know if we're just trying to take space, if we're trying to see if there's a fourth going up, which, by the way, there is, down here at the 6 o'clock. That's going to be really tough to sneak into. Okay. So, oh my gosh. She did it, though. Okay, so we've got Dazzle's army attacking the 6. The SCV goes down. This command center likely not going to last, doing a really good job of keeping the engagement going so that these tanks can't go down there and help. But this is costing a lot of supply, right? And it does look like some vultures tank is going to be coming in here. And we'll see what happens. But I want to come back up here because the bromance continues. Vultures are up here cleaning out the third again and doing their 8,000 shots on this Nexus, which is about to go down. This might be the beginning of the end. This third base, Dazzle really needed to keep. This was extremely important. And this is one of those maps that's pretty tilting, I feel like, for anyone playing against Terran. Because Nader hasn't gone anywhere, right? Like, if you really think about what Nader's done, Nader's made 8 gajillion tanks, sat them all in a powwow right here outside his base, and sent a couple dozen vultures out just to harass. But because this is so impenetrable, throwing your army against it a couple of times, that's enough to change the tide of the battle. And that's really what we're seeing. We're seeing just the Terran dam just hold until eventually it breaks and Seventhnadir walks across the map. Really frustrating to play against. Okay, Dazzle doing her best to control the middle of the map. We've got observers observing. So our Protoss player knows that the tanks aren't going anywhere. They know that they're all there. This isn't enough to fight it. And I'm wondering if this might be frustration coming into play. Good D matrix. And right now the supply continues to plummet. And that's it. Dazzle sees it, throws in the towel. GG. And that was a great game. That was a lot of fun. Alrighty, let's go back to our handy dandy scorecard. Alrighty, so Seventhnadir is going to get the W, and Dazzle is going to get the L. Now remember, both these players were undefeated, so that was kind of the decider match of who's kind of leading the way. So right now it looks like we've got Seventhnadir with 3 wins, right? And Dazzle is 1-1. Now, we're going to go into this last game, which is going to be Nate versus Dazzle. And Nate is currently sitting at, it looks like, 1 win, 1 loss, 1-1. So this is an equal record, all right? So we're going to have 1-1 versus 1-1. And this is going to be the last game of the day. So we'll do this game. We'll close it with the CPL anthem. And we'll go raid someone cool. So if there's someone cool out there that we should raid, let me know. And we'll do it. Nate versus Dazzle. So this is going to be a PvT again. All right. Top versus bottom. Oh, crap. You guys can't see anything. All right. Top versus bottom. We got good colors. Okay, so down here in the bottom right, we've got Dazzle, our blue Protoss. And in the bottom left, we've got Nate, our red Terran. Now, what we saw from Dazzle in the last game, we saw her go straight to Dragoons. There was no early Zealot pressure. We had 2 Dragoons come down, took some pot shots at the bunker. Once the tank showed up, they ran away, right? We didn't play that game for too long. The dance didn't last a whole lot of time. And then from that point, Dazzle was able to get her 3rd expansion up relatively quickly and start building up a really strong force. Had a big army, and waited until observers. So once the observers came out is when the move out came out. And then we kind of saw a little bit of a lack of restraint with the army, and we just saw it get thrown against the Terran siege tanks over and over. Now, to Nader's credit, he had a lot of siege tanks, he had them in really good positions, and he did a good job of making sure that he kept that siege tank count high while harassing with the vultures. So we'll see if Nate can do the same thing in his TVP, if he plays similarly. And we'll see if Dazzle changes the game plan at all as she faces off against our red Terran. So we're seeing a little bit of a wall being generated up here. Now, last game we saw Nader do a little bit of like his SimCity down here in the bottom. He did kind of like a depot, racks depot to keep it a little out of the way, I think was the intention. Now, up here we're going to have the barracks and the supply depot here. I don't know if he's going to throw another one here. Sometimes when you see this, and if he seals it off, he might go like a double racks kind of build. We'll have to see. Yeah, Dazzle, let me know if the variation occurs or the adaptation that you threw into this match, like when it happens, if I miss it. I want to capture those changes. Because that's what CPL is all about. It's all about just learning. Alright, we got the core going down. Another pylon. Oh, you'll notice. Alright, I'll keep my eye out. This guy doing SCV things. Waiting for that one extra gas. There we go, and boom, factory. Okay, so we are going to be walling off completely with the depots and the racks. Now, this seems like a pretty good wall, actually. I don't know if a Zealot can get through down here in the bottom. Does someone, do we have any hole experts? Anyone that mastered in holes? Anyone's college experience include holes that that can tell us whether or not a Zealot can get through here? Hold on, I'm trying to read that. Game is visual and audio, but the live shot of the Manshark himself is going through relativistic distortion. Oh yeah, don't worry about me. This thing's gonna be all sorts of distorted. Okay, anyway. We've got the probe coming over here getting first scout. We got SCV over here getting first scout. Oh, Dazzle! Oh, never mind. I thought we were over on the Terran base there for a second. I thought you were taking the natural. Okay, going for the early Nexus. And the Dragoon is out as it's going to schwack this SCV. Now this probe, okay, so I guess that answers my question. That this is Zealot type. Because it's probe type. This probe is confused. Doesn't know what to do with itself. Please, please put down a pylon. Do it. I mean, there's no forge. We're going robotics facility. Okay. I want to see some drops. I'll see some reavers. Somehow that SCV survived too. And that's going to be annoying for Dazzle. Spent all that time chasing it around with the Dragoon and gets out anyway. Alright, Nexus is being built. Still no expansion. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Nate is opting to build the CC up on the high ground. And I'm trying to remember if Nate played Shimmer and what that game looked like. But there might have been some reason for this, maybe to counter some aggression. I know whenever I do this, things just don't work well. I don't know. Okay, was Nate opening up supply for something? Yeah, okay, so he needed the supply for the tank. That's why he killed his Marine. And it looks like he's going to try to move out here with one tank. And this is one of like 3 Dragoons on the map. So Dazzle needs to keep this alive. Able to pick off a Marine. Spider Buddy shows up. Alright. Sitting pretty. And the probe's back. Oh my gosh, the probe! Is it going to sneak back up here? Sneak back up here and like hold position under the barracks so it can't land again? I love that. The tank's like, get out of my way. Okay, the pro's going to get in here and get a full scout. So Dazzle's going to be aware, okay, there is a second command center. This isn't something crazy, some two-factory rush per se. Like, there is an expansion. I just didn't see it at first. I think the probe did die. We've still got the Dragoons out here. Let's take a peek at Protoss. All right, we've got 4 gates. We got the robo facility. We're going to have those observers out nice and early. Or maybe it's standard timing. It felt like they came out later last game. All right, we've got the observer shooting it straight across to the Terran base. Okay, 3 tank push. Here we go. Now, I like the high ground here for the Dragoons, and with good control, like, I don't think 4 Dragoons wins this fight, but definitely picks off some tanks. Unfortunately, the shots are being spread out a little bit among these Marines. Nate doing a good job of getting the Marines forward. But you can see here, right? Like, this tank, I think that's 2 shots, right? 2 Dragoon shots from being killed. This one, not far behind. So, yeah. And luckily, what, only 1 Goon lost? 0 Goons lost? So not a bad little skirmish there for Protoss. We do have mines coming out now, and it looks like an SC... That was the original SCV from before. It might have been coming down to start building some turrets, but it gets sniped. This is powerful. I kind of wish Nate wasn't holding back with this right now. I kind of wish he was being just a little bit more aggressive, because now we're starting to get Zealots. We're having another production cycle finish. We have a little bit more Dragoons. Okay, but he is going to be able to set up this contain. Oh, he's getting a little too far. Now, if these goons target fire these tanks, they're done. Oh, huge mine. Oh my gosh, just kill this tank. Kill it. These stupid mines. Kill the tank, kill the tank, kill the tank. All right, mine drag does it. Oh my gosh. That was a little disastrous for Terran. Okay. Good defense there by Dazzle. But sent back to the Stone Age, right? Very small army. Now, if we go back over here to the Terran side, not a whole lot going on either. And so Dazzle's going to go out here, clear these mines. Now, it's about now where we could expect Dazzle to take a third. And we'll see if she does so. We're still sitting on slow vultures, by the way, too. And it looks like Nate might have had a rally set up right here. So I wonder if there's going to be more coming that he could snipe. No, it doesn't look that way. It looks like he's going to just be rebuilding his force. Because he lost a lot of early tanks. So he kind of needs to rebuild here. Reconstitute that army. Something's being shot. Okay, this drone... Not drone. Drone. This observer almost getting knocked out of the sky by this turret. I like this turret. This is one of those like kind of anti-reaver, like anti-shuttle drop turrets, right? But can also help with DTs, trying to get up the ramp, etc. And speak of the devil, a DT. All right, invisible men have entered the chat. Oh no! Oh my gosh! All right, the mine drag made quick work of that. I don't think he's going to get through these mines, though. Yeah. That was cool, though. All right, we got some sieged tanks up here. We got 5 factories, 2 machine shops. We're getting vulture speed. We're getting +1, whatever this is, vehicle plating. We already have +1 attack, too, so we're going up to 1-1. We don't have any upgrades for our Protoss, but the forge, we have 2 forges being built, so they'll come a little later, but when they do come, they'll be coming 2 at a time. Third base going up. Ooh, support bay. I want to see Reavers. I don't think this Dragoon's going anywhere ever. I imagine... Oh. Nope, it's stuck. Alright, so we have a... It's basically a cannon now. All right. So Terran has had the opportunity to kind of build up a decent force again. This isn't a joke. This is a good amount of vultures. This is a good amount of tanks. And with these DTs, if we can keep them out of the mines, this could do a lot of damage, though. All right, the siege was a little late there. All right, vultures are pulling back. Good, good. And we only have one tank in the fight. Okay, 2 tanks now in the fight. This one on the high ground, only just now able to hit this zealot. Overall, though, good trade for Terran. Thinning out the vulture numbers. And now we're going to try to dive with the DT. But unfortunately, like, there are enough mines to take care of that. All right. When it comes to supply, though, Dazzle is ahead, 93 to 72. And Nate is trying to get his 3rd CC. Likely going to try to float it up here to the 3rd. Got a lot of probes up here. There's definitely an opportunity to transfer some probes. Oh no, 3 cannons. 3 drones. 3 dragoons. Ooh, and Dazzle's getting a 4th. Very good. All right, we've got a game ahead of ourselves. All right, we got a moderately sized Protoss army here. We've got some vultures running around. So like we were talking at the beginning of this game, we were curious to see if this game would be similar to the last TVP, where the vultures kept going out, and this was Nader, I think, right? Where they were going out denying these expansions while he just amassed a good jillion tanks at home. That hasn't really been the case in this game. We do have kind of the tanks outside the natural, sieged up, creating a wall, but they're a little bit farther back, right? And he's trying to expand anyway. So I think Nate could potentially, oh no, misrally? Bring these tanks in this minefield up a little bit, right? Like up towards this area. So that he can better defend this 3rd base. Doing that, I think, would be huge. And then getting these vultures active, which it looks like he's doing right now. And may have a great opportunity. Ooh, but Dazzle learned. Dazzle learned from last game. Gotta have a couple cannons on these farther expansions just to protect against vultures. And there's a nice little wall off here. So I think this base is going to be perfectly fine. I mean, we'll see. Nate might commit on this. Yeah, he's going to lose a couple vultures and run away. Probably could have killed them, but like he would have then had to kill the pylons, and we would just have more cannons. So probably a good idea there. And right now we do have our Protoss players still about 20 probes ahead. See, more cannons. This might be a little many, but definitely good to go. Ooh, and we've got Reavers. Okay, I want to see how this goes, because Reavers are so stupid. Oh my god, I hate Reavers. Now, unfortunate for Dazzle, Nate hates Reavers too. And he's got a whole shit ton of turrets waiting. Now, if only one turret shoots at it, I think we might be okay. Can we get them out? Can we get them out of the shuttle? I don't even have it selected. No! Oh, no! Oh! I mean, to be fair, even if the Reavers got out, like those tanks down there would have been able to shoot them immediately. But that's definitely like a big level up moment for Protoss, right? Being able to micro those Reavers and start getting value from them against the Terran. Okay, so this is, you know, kind of what we saw different from last game, was there was a lot of tanks up here behind this lake, this pond. That's not there this time, and so Protoss is going to be able to come up here, exploit this bridge. And it's going to do a good amount of damage, but it is, I think, ultimately going to get cleaned up. We have Storm. Storm has shown up. Can we get one off before he gets sniped? Oh my goodness, between the Reavers and that High Templar. If I was Dazzle, she's probably sitting there with her keyboard just like slamming it. Oh, whoa. Got a jiggle tank going on there. One of these factories is rallied over to this natural, and it cracks me up because I've been there. Yeah, scouting tank. He was like, yep, Protoss is still here. Confirmed. Alright, bye-bye, Observer. There's another one, though, hanging out right there. And another one right there. So Dazzle's been doing a really good job of maintaining visibility. Oh, scouting tank number 2. Let's go. Yep, Yep. There's Protoss. There's still Protoss here. Yep. Yep. And they have goons. Yep. Okay, so scouting tank did its job. And we're starting to get a scary number of tanks, right? Let's go ahead and do a little upgrade check. We're sitting at 1-1 with an additional, you know, +2 weapons started here, and an additional armory for the Terran, which means there must be a science facility somewhere. Okay, yeah, we do have the science facility down, and we are getting a control tower on the starport. So we'll have to see what he does with that, whether he starts going dropships or he starts making a couple of science facilities or science vessels. But I really want to take a peek over here at Protoss. We've got a lot more gateways. We've got double robo facility. We still have another shuttle, and we're getting 2 stargates. Okay, and these Dragoons have had enough. They're like, let's get in the fight. Let's kill our own buildings. Now we got these expansions going on up here. Huge gateway explosion. All that bank that Dazzle has. She's just spending it all. But unfortunately for her, a bromance found it. So we've got, I don't know, pick your boy band names. We got this fold. We got Brad, Chad, Thad, and Ringo. And they're all coming up here, and they're going to be making this really tough to hold. Now, we are seeing a reaction from Dazzle. We're getting the Zealots, we're getting the Dragoons, we're scooping them up, and we're heading them up top here. Now, again, like, they're only about 4,000 shots out of the 8,000 on this one. And so these Vultures aren't going to kill this, right? Oh my god, the mines. Oh my goodness! But he needs to get through these mines. I'm sorry, she needs to get through these mines. Now, the observers here... Oh my gosh. Oh, these mines are getting so much work done. But I think this Nexus is going to be fine. Fine-ish. Fine adjacent. Everything's fine. And so Dazzle has essentially secured the entire right-hand side of the map. Now what's going on for Terran? Terran's still sitting on 3 bases. It's about time that I think Terran might start thinking about this 4th. Why? Because this main, there's no mining going on here, homie. But we are increasing our factory count, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like we're going up to 10. Okay. It's going to be a little bit tough to maintain production on that with 2 bases. Haven't seen anything coming out of the starport yet, though. But we are using our ability to upgrade well. Also getting Goliath range. So I don't think it's lost on Nate that there's a high chance, high likelihood, they might be seeing carriers or arbiters coming up soon. Oh, Reavers have entered the fight. Boom. That was really anticlimactic. Let's try again. Oh my god. Okay, we're zealot bombing the Reavers, and a lot of tanks shot themselves. That was awesome. Shuttle survives, and these Dragoons are getting a lot of Vulture kills. But this is slowly... I'm cautious. The last game we saw, right? Dazzle, she threw her army against the Terran siege line several times. It hasn't happened much yet, but that was kind of the first example of losing a good amount of units against that, right? We saw those Reavers go down. Terran is deciding to take that 4th base, like we were talking about. But I also want to point out, we've got Arbiters, and we've also got Stasis, but also up in the production tab, that I didn't mention because the fight was going on, we had Recall get finished up. So this looks very recallable. And this looks really hard for tanks and stuff to drive through. So we'll have to see if we get a little shake and bake here. And we can sneak an Arbiter into one of these bases. But we have to survive this push. Okay. The cloaking should help a little bit. It's going to force out some scans. There's no science vessels here. And there's no Goliaths either to knock out these Arbiters. That Storm is absolutely ginormous. A bunch of tanks going down. This is a very good trade for Dazzle right now. You can see up in the supply too. Dazzle sitting at 168 to 107 for Nate. You know what? Nate would have seen that with a scouting tank. Yep, we were 1 scouting tank short of not walking into that. Oh, wow. And there's just a a big gap here. Dazzle may have done it. Hold on. Dazzle took up the entire right-hand side of the map and is now just marking straight into the Terran's base. We've got invisible zealots pretending they're DTs running around, tanks dropping like flies, arbiters being annoying. Haven't seen a stasis, haven't seen a recall. That arbiter does go down, but the damage was done, and the replacement's right behind. This looks all of a sudden very tough for a Terran player. And I think, you know, the big adjustment of that last game was that we had a really good opportunity where the Terran pushed. We won the fight as Protoss, and we had that counterattack opportunity. That was something that we didn't have in the last game. There was no attack from Terran. So yeah, I see in the chat. The name of the game is Don't Attack, and you'll win. And you can just see on the mini-map too, right? Just zealots flowing in from all the different corners of the map. Now, I know the Arbiter has flown over this, but that's definitely not the focus or priority. Dazzle wants to get on top of these big mining bases. Wants to get on top of this production. Wants to keep this army shoved up into that main. Yeah, also get Arbiter. Yeah, Arbiters are good, and they're hard to deal with as Terran. I feel like they are. Because like the right thing to do is like have science vessels, EMP them. But it's kind of tough to get that done when there's so many Dragoons. And Arbiters just pop out of nowhere, right? You can be sitting there and all of a sudden you have an Arbiter sitting over your CC. And Zealots are so good. These are 2-3 Zealots. 2-2 mech. I think the writing is on the wall. Writing's on the wall, everybody. Terran behind. Now trying his best, but Nate is a little poor, right? We have these 10 factories, but we don't have the money to really produce. And why is that, you may ask? Well, that's because we have 18 SCVs left. Dazzle went around and just murdered all of the workers with her zealots. Now, there's still this base, right? This is kind of the last hope of mining. But it's really, really what Dazzle wants to do is just make sure this army never gets big again. And just keep killing that army. Huge storm, mega dead tank. Second mega dead tank. Soon, I'm sure of it. And there's the GG. Razzle Dazzle. Congratulations, Dazzle. Well fought. Nate, great job. I think there was just that one engagement that occurred right here that really determined that whole game, right? Like there at the end. So yeah, let's go back to the scoreboard. All right, so where does that leave us? That leaves us with this. All right, so CrimsonJoe went 1-3 for this week. We had Dazzle, looks like went 2-1. We had Nate go 1-2. How did Shimmer do? Shimmer played once and just lost once. Oh yeah, Shimmer. That was the lurker situation, right? And then we had Nader end up going 3-0. So overall, fantastic group, ton of fun. Love to see it. I didn't see anyone in chat saying on who to raid. So if there is someone that we want to raid, let me know. But before we leave, we have to listen to the CPL anthem. So everyone, hand over your heart. And let's get ready to rock.
Winners rise and losers fall, reflexes sharp, minds and thrall. Gamers play, this never ends.
Here it comes. Ugh, music. It's the worst. All right, let's go ahead and find someone to raid. Thanks again for watching. Thanks everyone for following. And then thanks for the couple of people that actually threw some Prime subs. Really appreciate it. All those Prime subs. I'm just going to take them. I'm going to throw them at like Starcraft Underground tournaments or something like that. Let's go ahead and find someone to raid. We've got Worst. Yeah, let's do Worst. All right, let's go ahead and send you over there. Everyone have a kick-ass rest of your day. And keep an eye on all the other casters. There's a lot of casters doing these CPL matches, and they are a ton of fun. All right, deuces.